Let me share with you 3 of my best all-time driver videos. You know, driving doesn't have to be that complicated, especially when you get some of the secrets that I'm going to share with you here. Let's go and get started. If I got a video for you to help you hit your driver absolutely fantastic, you're going to feel like this thing is a weapon. And all we have to do is a few simple things that all great drivers of the golf ball do. And once we incorporate that technique, driving is going to get to be fun. Now the first one is we need to be behind the golf ball. So when I measure tour pros, as they come down into impact, their head is well behind the golf ball. They're almost looking at the golf ball from behind it like this. I see a lot of players when they're hitting drivers, especially drivers that are very poor drivers of the golf ball, they'll get that head in front, and now all of a sudden my nose is over the golf ball or in front of the golf ball, and I'm going to start to chop down, or I'm going to back up out of my posture, I'm going to flip it, I'm going to do all these things that I don't want to do. So let's go ahead and do a little trick here. It's going to help us get in the right position. I want to play the ball on kind of the inside of my left foot. The exact position is up to you. You can move it around, but anywhere up there is good. I'm going to take a stance that's slightly wider than shoulder width. That way I can get some good power into the shot. And I'm going to put my hands with my fingertips even on my thighs. So I mean my fingertips are at the same level here as I set up. I'm straight up and down here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt and I'm going to let my hips go forward, my upper body go back slightly. That's going to take my shoulders and tilt them a little bit more this way. And my fingertips on my right hand are going to come down until they're just above my knee or my right knee. So I'm going to slide them down this way. Now they're just above my knee. My left hand is going to be moving up my leg like this as that happens. And now I've got my body in the perfect angle to be able to hit this ball from the inside and be really shallow. So now that I'm here, I'm behind the golf ball now. I feel like I'm going to stay there the entire time. It's going to help me to get in from the slot. And if you look from face on, you're going to see that I'm not moving around all over this. I can really stay in that one position. Even though I'm getting a little weight shift, my head is staying there, which is going to make me very consistent. Now, if you do this correct, you should be able to hit a nice power draw out there because your body's in the position to make that happen. Let's go ahead and try that out. There we go, crushed that one. Felt really nice. Stay from the inside, 306. Great club head speed and ball speed, so really nice shot. Now, if you're not set up in the right way, if you don't have your body behind the golf ball and you're in front like that, I find that you'll fight that forever. You'll try all these other tips and your body's just out of position. It's going to be too hard to do the other things you want to do. So maybe if you're sliding in front and you're steep, well, it's going to be tough to get from the inside, shallow it out if I'm sliding in front. So fix that one piece first. Keep your head behind the golf ball. Now you're in position to where you can do the other things that great golf drivers do. So let's go ahead and do 5 reps of this. Again, slide your fingers down to your right fingers above your knee. Do that and make a practice swing. Do 5 reps of that so you get the feeling of it. Then you can go ahead and start hitting some golf balls. Now the second piece of it makes it really easy to get shallowed out and from the inside. Makes it almost foolproof to do this. Now I have an impact bag here. And if you want this exact impact bag, this is my favorite one. Eyeline Golf makes this one. It has a couple slants for your irons. It's very durable. Love this impact bag. I'll put a link in the description or somewhere on this page. If you buy one of these from that link, we get a few bucks, helps us to make these great videos for you. Keep on making this great content. But if not, use a pillow, use a rolled up towel. You can use whatever you want to make this happen. This is just the one that I prefer. So I'm going to put it 1 foot behind my golf ball, and it's going to be in line with my golf ball. So what I mean by that is, if I put a club on the edge of this impact bag, on this wall of it, it should be lined up with my golf ball here. Now that allows me to swing from the inside, miss this impact bag, and get that nice draw without ever hitting it. Now if I start to lean in front again, like we talked about, I start to get steep on the downswing, I'm going to be chopping down in that impact bag. It's in the way. Now be careful to give yourself a little bit extra space at the beginning and then gradually scoot that forward if you're an over-the-top player. Again, I'm going to do my tilt, and then from here, here's what I'm going to feel. I'm going to feel like now that my body is behind it, I've cleared out an alley for me to swing this way. Now that's exaggerated. I want to feel like this club is almost on this wall back here and then swinging out to that wall over there. Now that's not really happening, but I can tell you the number of people that I see that over shallow the club, almost 0. The number of people that I see that get too steep and out here, almost 100%, right? So let's go ahead and exaggerate this. I've got my body in a good position now. I'm going to feel like this club gets back on this wall and then swings out toward that wall. Again, not really going to happen, but that's the feeling that we want to have. Again, here I'm going to try to hit a nice little power draw. Let's give it a whirl. Yeah, hit that one nice. Started down the right center, drawing back. Couldn't ask for anything better than that. Great distance, 299. Carried 280 in the air. Very happy with that one. Now, I wasn't going 100% at it. I can always kick it up a little bit, but I find this last thing helps you to swing as hard as you want to and not have to worry about that ball coming back. So do your 5 reps of that again. We got our tilts. We did 5 reps with the fingertips. We did 5 reps, club into the wall, missing this impact bag. And now finally, this is the piece that I think makes this easy to do. You see, when you're coming over the top, this right forearm gets high. And as I'm making my downswing, if I'm over the top or steep, you're gonna see my right forearm is kind of covering up my left forearm where you almost can't see it on the camera there. It's blocking it. Now, if I do this correctly and I come from the inside with some good lag, look how now my right forearm is well underneath my left forearm. You could even have a player put a club shaft between your forearms and kind of set it like that. I won't be able to do this because I'm just by myself, but I'm gonna have someone even put a club kind of last parallel. They should be able to fit a club between your forearms there. So whenever you pause, last parallel means when my club shaft is parallel to the ground in the downswing, you should be able to fit a golf club through there and not be able to hit it. If I'm steeper, no way I'm getting a club in there. It's gonna feel like I'm snapping that off. Now from there, that puts me in a position where I have this late lag. I'm from the inside, and now I'm gonna feel like I hammer this ball from the inside. Here's what I mean by that. If I had a wall here, let's actually pretend I'm gonna hit this wall. If I was gonna hit this wall with my club, I'd turn the tip of the club out like I got it like an axe. If I come through here, I'd be doing exactly that. Look how my right forearm is lower than my left arm. And then from there, I'm gonna have my hands almost to this wall, and then I'm gonna release the club and hammer it. It feels really powerful. That's the exact same thing you're doing in your golf swing. I'm getting this club lagging from the inside, right forearm below the left, and then I'm gonna hammer that golf ball from the inside the same way that I was hammering the wall right there. Now that's a very powerful feeling for most players, and once you feel that, it's like the light bulb goes off. Now I understand why I have to be behind the golf ball. That's to get me in this position. Now I understand why I can miss this bag and still hit a great shot. That gets me in that same position. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do the 3 things we mentioned, another 5 reps of that hammer motion with the right forearm lower, and you've got the feel of exactly what you need to do. Let's go ahead and give it a whirl here. I'm gonna crank this one up a little bit. Let's get a little bit more swing speed on this one. There we go, went a little harder at that one. Again, the nice draw came from right to left. 318 on that one, club head speed went up to 120. But the best part is, I don't have to worry about it. I know that I can swing as hard as I want to because that ball is going to come back from right to left because my body's in the right position and my club's working in the right way. Almost every golfer I see that struggles hitting it straight does pretty much the same thing. They're going to have the hips bump this way, a little bit to the right in the backswing. In the downswing, they're going to stand up and lose their posture a little bit. And then that club's going to do all kinds of different things. It's going to slam shut and that ball's going a mile to the left, or they're gonna fall back and keep the face open. That ball's gonna go a mile to the right. There's a lot of things that could happen that we don't wanna have happen when we move that way. The secret to hitting the driver really straight, and I was lucky enough to be taught these things correctly at a very young age, these couple things that I'm gonna talk about in this video. I had a lot of things wrong, but I've always been a very good driver of the golf ball because of this. Number 1, I have to be angled away from the target. I measured 50 major winners from the year 2000. And every single one of them at contact, when they hit this golf ball, their upper body was angled away from the target. So many golfers bump that hip, now all of a sudden my upper body gets angled this way, and then we stand up and we're almost straight up and down. I've seen almost probably 10,000 swings online, and the vast majority of them do that pattern that I just talked about. Their spine angle's way too vertical and the ball goes this way and it goes that way. So let's talk about how to do this. Number 1, we want to get this set up right at address. I'm going to get a little bit of bump. So I'm feeling like my hips actually go this way. My right hip is lower than my left hip. It's just slight, I'm exaggerating here. And I'm feeling like my shoulders are also tilted. That's going to get my entire spine angled back. From there, I want to feel like I get a little weight shift to the right, so my weight's moving to my right foot, but I don't lean this way. As I do that, I want to feel like if I had a club hanging from my chin, that club would be off my chest and it'd be kind of on the inside of my right foot. So if I did it the wrong way and I did this, all of a sudden the club would be laying across my chest and that club would be up here by the ball instead of being back here like this. So it's a slight move. We're talking a couple inches. It makes all the difference in the world. So a little bit of bump at address. As I go to the top of the swing, I'm keeping that angle there. If I don't keep that angle, I'm gonna hit it all over the place. So that's piece number one. Let's go ahead and try that out and notice how this angle stays tilted away the entire time in my swing. There we go, hit that one right down the middle, just like a bullet. So driving to me, and I hate feeling like I'm being, bragging or anything, but driving feels very easy. If I could do one thing over and over again, I would love to hit the driver every single time because I'm able to hit it very straight and very far. And it's not because I'm this extremely great athlete, because there's other parts of my game where I'm not as talented as the pros would be. But when it comes to driving, I have these fundamentals right, and it makes it easy for me to hit drives just like you see with the pros. And I think you can too. If you're up a little bit in age, that's okay. It may not go quite as far as Bryson DeChambeau or whoever, but it's gonna go pretty daggone good. You're gonna be out driving your buddies and you're gonna be hitting it solid at the same time. That's the first piece. The second piece here is as I start my weight shift to the left, I have to feel like I keep my head behind that golf ball and behind my lead foot. So this is a tricky one for a lot of players. Say I'm angled back, wouldn't I be falling back to the right? No, you're actually moving to the left. So I can go ahead and step just like a baseball hitter would be doing. They're gonna step in this front foot. This is angled back, and their weight is staying behind that lead foot. If I'm, wanting to swing from the inside, I have to get that weight moving to the left, but I have to be angled back so I can get this club moving from the inside here. So that's the second piece. You can't just be angled back and stay there and swing off your back foot. That's not gonna work. I have to get angled back and then shift my weight into my front foot and finish over my front foot. So that looks just like this. Again, I'm angled back, early shift to the right. From there, I'm beginning to shift left, and my entire downswing, I'm driving weight into my left foot as I'm angled back. And then as I finish my follow through, the momentum of the club is gonna pull me all the way around to that good full finish. So that's what you wanna feel like. I wanna feel like I'm almost like a spike being driven into my left foot from my right shoulder. As I shift weight, that spike is going this way. I'm not doing this and sliding in front of it. I'm staying back and shifting into that left foot. That allows me to swing from the inside. It allows me to get tons of power and really hit this driver extremely straight. So let's go ahead and try another one out here. Get my tilt on this one. I'm really feeling like that weight goes to the inside, or goes to the inside of my front foot, but I'm staying behind the golf ball. My head is always behind the golf ball. There we go. Hit that one nice and solid again. Nice little tiny fade, hit really solid. And it's the only reason I'm getting all the way up on my front foot is that my club eventually pulls me around and I'm balanced over this front foot. Up until then, even though I'm shifting hard to the left, I'm staying behind it. Let me hit one final one here. And you can see again, just how much force I'm moving to the left. Really pay attention to how hard I shift to the left, even though my head is staying behind the golf ball. There we go, another good shot right down the left side of the fairway, what would be the fairway. And that's gonna help you to hit it a whole heck of a lot straighter while keeping the power. Now I gotta tell you, there's one very basic driver move that makes a world of difference on how well you're gonna hit the big stick, how far you're gonna hit it, and how straight you're gonna hit it. Most players that I see will set up to the ball very much too vertically, meaning that their spine is straight up and down, their head is kind of between their feet, and the ball may be even a little bit more toward the middle of their stance. And when they swing in their downswing, because we're told to kind of square the club face up by rolling our forearms over, a lot of times what will happen is we'll stand up out of our posture in the downswing, meaning my upper body starts to lean back like this so that my arms can throw, and I'm very much vertical or straight up and down here. Well, the best drivers in the game, actually every single player on the PGA Tour, you can line them up, from 1 all the way to 200, every single one of them is not going to be doing that. They're going to be behind the golf ball. The ball position is going to be on the inside of the front foot. From there, if I had my left arm from my shoulder kind of straight down toward the driver, my right arm would be angled back like this. So instead of my shoulders being level, I'm going to have my shoulders this way. There's a couple ways I can do this. I'm going to show you several different ways to get this feeling. Number one, I can start with my hands to my sides. This would be vertical. My fingertips are the same distance down my pant legs. As I start to tilt my shoulders, I'm going to continue to tilt them, so I get a little bit of knee flex. I tilt my shoulders until my right fingers are just above my kneecap, and my left fingers have kind of slid up to just below my pocket on my pants there. That will get my shoulders tilted like this. It gets my head behind the golf ball, and now all of a sudden I'm in a position here to where I can create a ton of lag in the downswing. I can comfortably create lag. I can come from the slot or from the inside, and then from there I can release on out through the ball and get a lot of extension as I'm coming through there. You see, if I swing too vertically like this, I'm going to end up throwing my arms down at it and standing up out of my posture. So let's go ahead and try the wrong way here again. I'm going to stand up like that. I feel like I'm kind of pushing the club through, very awkward, where as I let my arms slide down my legs like this, now I'm behind it. I almost feel like I'm going to, if I had an axe here, I'd be hitting it. So if this is the tip of the axe, I'd be hitting it from the inside like this, and my shoulders are angled behind it. It's just a much more powerful position. From there, I feel like I can absolutely hammer it. I don't know why it's going so quick on this screen today, but that one, 290 carry, 313 total distance. Much easier to hit a draw, much easier to come from the inside. So tilting the shoulders, sliding the hands down, that's one way of doing it. Now another way, if I was to take my club, we're getting to the exact same result here, but if my hips are out of a line, it's not going to work. So I'm going to put this club on the front of my pants here, on my belt, where my belt is, on my belt loops. So it's the same height, it's level with my hips. From there, I'm going to go ahead and bump my hips so that my left hip is a little higher, my right hip is a little lower, and now you can see this club shaft gets slightly angled up like that. So this would be level, this would be me leaning the other way. I'm getting a little bump this way, and I'm slightly closing my hips. This makes it a little easier to get my body tilted back behind the golf ball slightly. So all I'm doing there is tilting it, turning it a little bit closed, and now all of a sudden, again, I'm opening up this big amount of room, this big amount of space to come from the inside and to get that club shallowed out so that I can hit that nice draw. Now here, I'm going to overdraw it a little bit. I'd rather do that a little extra because most players would love to hit a little extra draw, if anything. So now I bump my hips forward, a little bit closed, and again, I'm creating that same kind of feeling where it's tilting my shoulders, my head is behind the golf ball. There we go. Killed that one. Again, 290-ish carry, 287.4, 312 total distance. I'm pretty daggone happy with that. Now here's the problem with that. There's two ways to square the golf club. One way to square the golf club would be to release my forearms, to feel like my forearms are going to roll over each other, and that's going to take this club face and square this club face up. Now the problem with that idea is that in order to get the face square, my forearms need to be released, neutral like this. Well, I can't get in this position with my forearms neutral. If I'm in this position like we just talked about, look at my right forearm. It's much lower than my left forearm. Look at that angle there to where now I'm coming from the inside, I'm behind this golf ball. That would have my forearms angled like this. That would be like my face being wide open. So if I take my forearms like that and I don't square the club face up the ways the pros are doing it, look how the face is pointing over there to the right somewhere. So if you've been taught to square the club face like that, and all of a sudden you get behind this golf ball, everybody's telling you, get from the slot, get from the inside. But if you've been told the wrong way to square the club face, here's what happens when you swing one from the inside. The ball goes to the right and even farther to the right. That's in the trees in the right rough. Maybe you hit it pretty decent, maybe you didn't, but it's going way too far that way, which you don't really want to have happen. The pros are doing something different. They're using something I call the anti-roll method. they're not rolling these forearms to square them up. They're able to get from the slot, get that arm there, and they square up the face by using the arms, the forearms, and the wrist in the right way. Now notice how my forearms are much more in the pro position like I talked about, but look at the club face, nice and square, so I can hit the heck out of the golf ball. I'm going to teach you how to do that in my anti-roll method video, which I'm going to play a preview of here in 1 second. All you need to do is go ahead and click the card that pops up on your screen somewhere. If you don't see one of those cards, don't worry. Go down to the description below, click the link there. You'll get instant access to my anti-roll method video. Let's go ahead and get started with it. I cannot wait to share with you the anti-roll method, start helping you play your best golf ever. So here's the bottom line. If you've been taught to roll the club in the early downswing, that causes the shaft to get steep. And that steep club causes all your problems. It causes you to hit it way behind the big hitters and way inconsistent with your quality of strikes. So you're in the tall grass and the trees and the hazards all day long. Now the great news is this. There's really only 2 pieces that you need to know to fix all these problems. The first one is we need to learn the proper way to square up the club face. Instead of rolling the forearms and getting steep, there's another way that the pros do this. Once you learn this right way to square up the club face, then you can shallow out from the inside and everything starts to fit together. Now I'm going to teach you this right now in what I call the anti-roll method. You may also hear this called the motorcycle move or the tour twist, but let's walk through exactly how to do that. Now what I want you to do is go ahead and go kind of in the last parallel in the downswing. So here, I want my hips to go ahead and be opening up. I want my club to be parallel with the ground, and I want my hands to be in front of my right thigh. Now, when I take my grip, you're going to notice that when I do this, the club face is basically straight up and down. So if I'm looking at it from this angle, you'll see the face is straight up and down, and my logo of my glove is pointed out in front of me. Now from there,